So I wanted to go over for loops explicitly just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And so when we look at this bit of code here, what do we have? We have a variable sums initialized to the value 0. Then we have a for loop, which uses the num variable and runs it from 0 up to 9 because we're using the range version of the for loop. So how is this going to go? Well, this is going to come in here, and sum is going to be equal to sum, which is 0 plus 0. So sum is equal to 0. It's going to come back in and say 0 plus 1, sum is equal to 1. Come back in, it's going to be 1 plus 2, which is 3. And then as it rolls through the for loop, it's adding up all of the numbers from 1 to 9, right? And then it's going to print out the sum, or whatever, all the numbers added together. And so just one thing that I wanted to be very clear about was how the for loop worked, right? And so the way Python is set up, the syntax for Python, it's a bit unclear exactly what's happening in this for loop. So let's look at the same for loop, but written in JavaScript, right? Or I'm sorry, in Java. And if you look here, we have a variable, right, created called sum. Okay, just ignore the differences in syntax. It's the exact same program as what we saw in Python. And so what is interesting is here is in the for loop, right? So when we talk about other languages like C++, Java, and so on and so forth, they're all very explicit with the for loop. And so what's happening here is we're making a temporary variable called I, and we're setting I equal to 0. Then we're checking this condition. Is I less than 10? Yes, it is. So since it's true, it's going to go into the brackets. I'm missing a bracket here. We're going to go into the brackets and we're going to do this calculation, or we're going to do whatever we put in the brackets. When it gets to the end, it's going to come back up to the top. It's going to add 1 to I. That's shortcut for adding 1 to I, which is making I equal to 1. And then it's going to check this condition again. Is 1 less than 10? Yes, it is. So it's going to come in and do this, and it's going to continue doing that until we get to I equals 9, right? And I equals 9 is less than 10. That's true. So it's going to come in and do this, get to the bottom bracket, come back up. I is going to be incremented, so it's going to be equal to 10, and then it's going to check this condition. Is 10 less than 10? No, it's not. So then it's going to break out and it's going to print out sum. Okay. So when we're using a for loop, this is explicitly what's happening. A variable, let me come back up. A variable is being created called num, a temporary variable. It's being set equal to 0, and then it's checking. Is 0 less than 10? Yes, it is. So it's going to come in and do this. Come back up to the top, add 1 to num. So num's now going to be changed from 0 to 1, and it's going to check this condition again. Is 1 less than 10? Yes, it is. Is 2 less than 10? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is 9 less than 10? Yes, 9 is less than 10. So it's going to come in and do this. It's going to come back up. It's going to increment num. So num's going to change from 9 to 10. Is 10 less than 10? No, it's not. So it's going to break down to line 5, and then it's going to print out sum. Okay, so just to be clear, that's the way that for loops work.